How has the year been? Well, the New York Times, thinking back on what we've just been through, calls it one relentless year, clearly a reference to the first year under the second term of President Trump, as well as some of the other things we've all gone through. To close it out, here is what a big Trump critic had to say as a kind of holiday message.
From a fascism perspective, this has been a really great year. Tyranny is booming over here. My country's president would like to shut me up because I don't adore him in the way he likes to be adored. He did this all to support the right to a free expression of speech. We won, the president lost, and now I'm back on the air every night, giving the most powerful politician on earth a right and richly deserved bollocking.
A little bit of fun there, but of course the jokes and the punchlines reference the truth. Kimmel getting that last laugh over Trump for now. But it is worthwhile to look at how he won and how Donald Trump's effort at a censorship plot has been going across the year. He spent a lot of 2025 with his view of opponents and criticism as something that should be punished, illegal, or outright attacked. Trump is also underwater and facing a larger revolt as he ends the year, including on issues that were thought to have helped him win the election last year. That includes a deportation agenda that, now that we've seen it for a year, is very unpopular, drawing opposition from across the political spectrum. NPR reporting on separated families, a Texas Tribune discussing the negative impact on the criminal probes, the Economic Policy Institute discussing other areas where Trump's running into problems, like the deportation plans also have the other effect of hurting the economy and jobs in the U.S. Tariffs are not a success either. We've had months now to take them in, although Trump has zigzagged, but the chart and the data shows that the tariffs have continued on and off with some, some sort of pullbacks at times, but overall you see the rates went up, didn't go down much. That is how the president ended the year, those kind of claims in December, but that hasn't been well received, and it's up against a wider revolt. The economy doesn't help his position politically. The Epstein debacle has stretched well into Christmas. We can get to that. But the wider revolt across the year has been peaceful protests that show the Trump resistance is strong. Unlike some of those elites running some of those companies, these people aren't giving up. Millions at the No Kings events. The ongoing release of the Epstein files has not stemmed the tide because it has been bungled. The redactions drawing ridicule, the minority of documents released are basically the DOJ admitting that they're breaking the law. Axios reports files will release well through the end of next week, and the Trump administration will lose that PR war day after day. Now there are reports of hundreds of thousands more files that they still need to review. It doesn't exactly look like a competent cover-up, although mathematically it is still a cover-up.
Welcome back, guys. All right, let's talk about this because a lot is happening and people are really starting to feel it. This video is about the first year of Trump back in power and why so many people, even inside mega circles, are nervous about what comes next. You can feel the panic building, especially when 2026 is mentioned. They call it the Trump slump, and honestly, it explains a lot of what we are seeing right now. From the very beginning, Trump has been trying to control the narrative. Instead of focusing on fixing problems, he seems more focused on silencing critics. We see lawsuits, threats, and intimidation against media outlets, journalists, and even regular people who speak out. This is not strength. This looks like fear. When a leader tried this hard to shut people up, it usually means the criticism is hitting too close to home. And the more he pushes, the more resistance he creates. One big issue that keeps coming up is deportation. Trump and his team, though this agenda would make him look tough and popular, but the opposite is happening. Across the country, even many conservatives are uncomfortable with how aggressive and chaotic these policies are. Businesses are losing workers, farms are struggling, and whole industries are feeling the impact. When people start losing jobs or paying higher prices because of political decisions, they don't care about slogans anymore. They care about survival. Then we have tariffs. Trump should tariffs. Trump sold tariffs as a win for America. But in reality, they have been hurting American consumers and businesses. Prices go up, supply chains get weaker, and small businesses pay the cost. The video makes it clear that these tariffs don't deliver the success Trump promised. Instead of helping the economy, they added more pressure at a time when people are already struggling with rent, food, and basic living costs. And that brings us to the economy. Trump keeps saying that concerns about affordability are fake, that it's just a trick by Democrats. But people don't need politicians to tell them when groceries are expensive. They see it every time they open their wallet. That's why his economy approval ratings are much lower than his overall approval. People may still like his personality or his attitude, but they don't feel secure financially. That's a dangerous place for any president to be. Now let's talk about the Epstein files because this is where things get really ugly. The administration promised transparency, but what we got was confusion, delays, and heavy redaction. Reporters say there are hundreds of thousands of additional files that still need review. This turned into a public relations disaster. Instead of closing the chapter, it opened even more questions. And when people feel like the truth is being hidden, truth completely disappears. The video describes this as a RP war that Trump is losing, and that's accurate. Every delay, every excuse, every contradiction makes it worse. Even Trump's supporters are asking why this is being handled so poorly. When a government looks messy and unprepared on something this serious, people start wondering what else is being mishandled behind the scenes. Another major theme in the video is government incompetence and lack of accountability. Guests describe a system where no one seems fully in charge, where rules change depending on who's angry that day. There's talk about the absence of a controlling legal authority, and that's scary. A government without clear limits and responsibility creates chaos, and chaos always hurts regular people first. Some of the language used is harsh, like calling Trump an 80 years old man baby, throwing tantrums. Whether you agree with that wording or not, the behavior being described is real. Emotional reactions, public outbursts, and impulsive decisions do not inspire confidence. When someone with immense power acts without restraint, people get nervous and markets react, allies react, and voters react. But here's the interesting part. The video also makes it clear that Trump doesn't always get away with it. There are limits. Courts step in, public backlash grows, media pressure builds. We have seen cases where Trump tried to immediate or control outcomes and failed. These movements show that the system, while strained, still pushes back. This is why mega panic is becoming a real thing. It's not just Democrats criticizing Trump, it's people inside his own movement worrying about the future. They see the polling, they see the lawsuits, they see the scandals stacking up, and they know that 2026 is closer than it looks. Late night hosts like Jimmy Kimmel are taking full advantage of this movement. Kimmel's jokes land because they reflect what people are already thinking. Humor becomes powerful when it tells uncomfortable truths. Laughing at Trump's problems doesn't make them disappear, but it does show that fear is turning into frustration and frustration is turning into mimicry. Politicians hate being mocked over than being criticized. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Trump as a person. It's about leadership, accountability, and trust. People want stability, they want honesty, they want leaders who take responsibility instead of blaming everyone else. Right now, many Americans feel like they are not getting that. Whether you support Trump or oppose him, it's hard to ignore the warning signs. Economic stress, policy failures, scandals, and internet division all point to trouble ahead. The question isn't whether criticism exists. The question is how long it can be ignored before it turns into real political consequences. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe the channel for more stories. And I will see you in the next video.